The fourth step in launching your CBD business, and a very important step, as all of these are, is the selection of your domain name. So again, even if you're going to be building your business offline, you really want to have a website, you want to have an online presence. And if you notice, this comes before selecting your name, your company name, because sometimes people just think, oh, I'm going to select some name. No, you don't want to just select some name. You want to select a domain name. And so, even as Jared and I, my son, who's our chief marketing officer, we've been brainstorming this week because we're launching a new, what we call a retail friendly brand. It will be a CBD brand that does not sell online, so that all the retailers that want to sell CBD products and not feel like their customer is just going to go online and buy from that brand, we're launching a retail friendly brand. Now, we're not in love with any name, but we do have a criteria of how we're going about selecting that name, and it's the criteria here that you see on the slide. Number one, a name that appeals to your target market. We came up with a great name the other day, and then as we did some research into what that name really meant, we felt like perhaps that wasn't the name that we wanted to go with. So again, look at the words that you're selecting and do some research into those words and make sure those are words that connect with your target market, whatever that target market is. Make sure it's easy to spell. You look at Joy Organics. Anybody can spell that. Our target market from the very beginning were women between 35 and 65. Nice name, Joy Organics, a nice name that's very attractive to our target market. Something that's easy to remember, Joy Organics. It's not like I see people that I haven't seen in months and they go, what was the name of your company? No, everybody can remember Joy Organics. So select a name that's easy to remember. I highly recommend that your name be 2 words. I mean, that's part of our criteria right now in selecting our new retail-friendly brand. So think about what is easy to remember and easy to spell. And the reason I say 2 words is because if you're able to find a domain name that is 1 word, the odds are extremely high it's a word that is not in the dictionary, and it's not a word that anybody's going to know how to spell, and it's not a word that anybody's going to remember after they have, purchased your product, and it's in their cabinet. They're going to go, what was the name of that company? I got to go back and look at it. So make sure that, again, it's a name that's easy to remember, a name that's easy to spell. And I highly recommend that you select a name that is not limiting. What do I mean by that? Is if you have CBD in your name, then what's going to happen when you're offering products with CBN or CBG? A name with CBD or a name with hemp is limiting. What if you launch your business with one strategy and then in 3 years from now, things change in the marketplace, other cannabinoids are discovered in that, you want to expand your product line. See, a name for us like Joy Organics, we can launch all kinds of products using that name. So think about a name that's not limiting. You don't want to be changing your name in 3 years from now because you picked a bad name. Pick the right name right out of the gate. And then I highly recommend that you select a name with a .com extension. I see a lot of people with a .co or all these weird extensions. They're just not credible. I mean, what major brand in the United States has an extension that's not .com? I mean, part of you building your brand is you want to look like $1 billion brand. And part of looking like $1 billion brand is having a .com extension and not having a dash between your first name and your word and your second name. So it'd be like Joy-Organics. No, that's not a good domain name. So really put some thought in your name. Keep in mind that if there's a name that you really like and it's not available and there's not a website up, that you can go to GoDaddy.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, click on Who Is. That's spelled WHOIS, Who Is, and you can see who owns that domain name. You could reach out to them and try to acquire it. Joy Organics, that name wasn't available. So we went to the Who Is database, we reached out to the person who owned it, and I think we paid $7,500 for Joy Organics. But it was my wife's name, and otherwise we would have probably picked a different name. But again, it's what we did to buy Joy Organics, and so if there's a name that you're really in love with and there's not a website up, reach out to the owner of that domain name and see if you can buy it. So again, these are some very important tips in selecting a domain name that's going to allow you to build a brand for many years to come and hopefully build an extremely valuable brand.